All right, so this is the beginning of fiction notes. I'm going to walk you through what you're going to be doing for the first 4 slides, and then I'm going to discuss and read out the directions for pages 1 and 2 that you might have missed or not remember how to do the directions. On this first slide, you are going to put your name. So you're going to highlight name, and then you're going to put your first and last name if you want to, and then you will change it into a different color. So I wrote Miss Jackson, and I'm going to put it in a different color. I put my favorite color, and then you'll add 2 images or stickers onto your first slide to get extra points. Now, slide 2 is our table of contents. We have 18 pages, 1 through 18. We'll do them all in class. And the first 2 pages are types of characters, protagonist versus antagonist, and that we'll do towards the end of this video. Slide 3 is about fiction and nonfiction. We're talking about fiction, so we have to understand what fiction is. Fictions are stories that are imaginary or made up from the imagination of an author. So, you usually read them to enjoy them. You read them in order from beginning, middle, and end. There are characters and settings and problems and solutions. You can never have a story without a problem or characters. So throughout these pages, for pages 1 through 18, we're going to be discussing the different parts of fiction that are important for us to understand and important for us to analyze, so that way we understand the point of the story. Nonfiction we'll go over later, but non is a prefix for not. So not fiction is anything that's the opposite of fiction. So in fiction, there is a plot to the story. Plot isn't something you've learned in elementary school, it's something you start learning in middle school. So this next slide talks about plot development. Okay, plot means what's happening in the story or the events happening in the story. Anytime I ask you what is the plot, you're telling me the story events or the events in the story. Now, plot is divided into 6 different parts. We've discussed this and reviewed this, and you've seen this in 6th grade. Okay, the different 6 parts is the exposition, and here's a brief definition. The conflict, which is in these notes, the 6 types. The rising action, which is the big part and the biggest chunk of the story. That's where new characters get introduced, the conflict gets worse, and then you hit the climax, which is towards the end of the story, is when there's a final battle, or when the conflict is at all-time high, and it's going to be solved or might not be solved. Then you go to the falling action, which is not that important, but it goes towards the resolution, which the resolution is the most important part with the exposition and conflict. The resolution is the outcome or the end of the story that helps solve the problem of whatever conflict happened at the beginning of the story. So most stories have a resolution or an outcome to whatever conflict, the main conflict that was introduced at the beginning of the story between the 2 main characters. Now, here is pages 1 and 2 of the notes. The directions are on the left-hand side of page 1, and the directions page 2 is on the right-hand side. Okay, I'm going to read out loud what you're going to be doing, and that way you can do them on your own. Step number 1 says watch both videos. Both videos are to the right, and they have play buttons. The protagonist versus antagonist, the supporting character, and you're going to watch both videos. Both videos are important for you to answer and to write in your notes, dragging and matching what completes the set of notes where the white blanks are. So after you watch these 2 videos, okay, you are going to move on to step number 2. Step number 2 says drag and match. You're going to read each type of character. Each type of character is the protagonist, the antagonist, and supporting characters. That's what the videos are about. You're going to use the word bank below to match what goes into which white blank. So there's 5 white blanks and 5 in the 5 word bank boxes. You have main, other, good, problem, bad, or evil. I'm going to read out loud each set of notes, and then you are going to drag and match where they belong based on what you already know and based on the video that you watch. The protagonist is the blank character in the story, usually the character who is blank. The antagonist is the other main character who is usually the blank character. They have a blank with the protagonist. Supporting characters are, these are blank important characters who help move the plot forward. So what you would do, I'm going to do the first one for you, is match, drag and match what belongs to each one that makes the most sense based on the videos and what you know. The blank character in the story. So the protagonist, pro means good. Okay, the protagonist is the main character in the story. So I'm going to click and drag and match it to where it belongs. So I know the protagonist now says the main character in the story. Then you would drag and match these other four where they belong in these white blanks. Okay, the next set of directions are watch. You go to page 2 and you watch the Colors of Evil short film. So you're going to click on this play button. You're going to watch the Colors from Evil from beginning to end. Now what you're watching for is who the protagonist, antagonist, and supporting character are. So before you watch it, understand what you're looking for so you know what to answer when the video ends. So what you're going to do is you're going to drag and match these 3 characters, the demon, Vivian, and Nancy, to where they belong in this green box of what type of character they are. So each character has a type. So where does each of these characters from Colors of Evil belong? Until you watch the video from beginning to end, you can't match them. So once you finish, you're going to determine, based on your notes on the left-hand side, from page 1, who the protagonist is, who the antagonist is, and who's the supporting character. So what you can do, what you should do is, once you figure out maybe who the supporting character is, you drag and match where they belong. So if you think the demon is a protagonist, you click, drag, and match him to the protagonist. If you think the demon is an antagonist, you're going to drag and match and put him under antagonist. Or if you think the demon is the supporting character, you're going to drag and match where it belongs for which character. There's only 3 characters in the film, so this is pretty easy. And all you're doing is dragging and matching where they belong. So that's it for steps number 1, pages 1 and 2, and the beginning of these notes.